again to this Saturday. Well, let's close on this, right? Because we already talked about Benavidez Beterbiev. We got that in after Beterbiev and Bivol. Title fight, IBF super welterweight title on the line. PBC fight on Amazon Prime. Their first free fight against Bakhram Murtazaliev. Kathy Duva still in the game. Still found a way to get herself a Russian champ.
That's who promotes her?
I think so. Pretty sure.
Okay. Shout out to Kathy then.
Yep. OG, my Zia, my Italian Zia over there. But so Tszyu trying to become a two-time title world champ in at 154. He fights Murtazaliev, who, in my opinion, unless you have any pushback on this, is the weakest of the title holders at 154.
Yeah, he is. Because when I watched film on him first, like the first thing I did was go to like the video with all of his knockouts.
Yeah, Themistol's, whatever that channel is. Yeah.
If he was in trouble, this Chechnyan guy, he can fucking punch.
Like, yeah. Dudes were getting zapped on his right hand.
Yeah.
Like flat on their back.
I'm like, Tim, you better tighten your defense up because this Chechnyan dude's coming to punch a hole through you. But then I watched the fight, or I watched like the highlights of his fight with Jack Kolke, who we know from fighting like the guys like Demetrius Andrade and Sergey Derevchenko.
Yep. And
Kolke stood up pretty well to his power, and I thought he had a lot of success in that fight. And my takeaway from it was that as explosive and as strong as Bakhram may be, and maybe he'll fight better than he's shown on film, but his head is going to be right there on the center line. And Tim Tszyu is an aggressive counterpuncher. And I just don't think a guy who fights in that fashion with that much defensive flaws can beat a Tim Tszyu unless you're a 6'6" praying man with boxing gloves on and you get cut. That's the only exception.
Yep. Yeah. He reminded me of a little bit. Not as good. Definitely not as good. Not as much liveliness in the feet. Not as quick a hands relative to a super welterweight as Kovalev was for a light heavyweight in his prime. Reminds me a little bit of Kovalev. And offensively a little bit. Very much a 1-2 guy, and he will open up with other shots, but it's not compact. And I think that's mainly the difference in this fight is Tim Tszyu, he throws his punches much sharper. He's fast, sharp mean, fast and compact. And I think his punches are more compact and sharper. He will have to get to mid-range, close range, but Tim Tszyu, over the course of the last 18 months, has been developing a nice pull counter game. Coming and moving off the upper body and shooting the shot off of that. He's got a great right hand, does Tim Tszyu, and a great uppercut. And I wish my main critique of Tim Tszyu is the work rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's too economic at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he could have stopped Mendoza, I feel like, if he put it together a little bit more, for example. But part of that, BT, might just be Tank Davis and Canelo, same thing. These are guys that throw everything crisp and hard and kind of sit down on everything they throw. And so they're only going to throw sometimes as little as 30 punches around, sometimes only as many as 45.
But they make the shots count.
Right.
And they're banking on the accumulation of those shots, adding up over the rounds and them getting you out of there.
And having perfect placement on a majority of them.
Yeah.
And I think
he'll stop Bakhram inside of 9 rounds. Inside of 9 rounds. I think Bakhram is going to make way too many mistakes. His head's going to be right there. That pull counter you talked about, that's a punch I think is going to land quite a few times. But at the same time, Tim is no defensive wizard either. He
gets hit. He's gonna get hit in this fight.
Is one of these Chechnyan bulls, like strength wise, he very, very physically strong. So that's where I think if Tim Tszyu isn't defensively tired, or if he's not getting his shots off the way he wants to, that's where the fight gets really interesting. But I think in the end, there's a reason they picked this fight. There's a reason they're going this route. His manager Glenn Jennings, smart guy, managed Costa.
Good guy.
One of the genuine good guys in boxing.
Yep.
He managed Costa his whole career, and he knows a thing or two about this boxing. So there's a specific reason why they picked Bakhram, and I think it'll be a very fun fight for the fans while it lasts.
So you mentioned Tszyu does get hit, right? And he will get hit in this fight. Big issue for Bakhram Murtazaliev is he has a really good chin.
Yeah.
So He'll
He
be
might
yeah.
might be able to weather the storm. You think like whether
Absolutely. I think he can withstand whatever's coming his way. And I think I like your pick by about round 8, 9, 10. I
yeah
just think the accumulation of the accurate shots, Zoo's best punches, his uppercut, his right hand up top, those both being up top, and his left hook to the body. That's his bread and butter offense. Um, he has a left hook up top, but that's his bread and butter is his right hand. The straight right hand off the pull now. He's incorporated it off the pull. He's got a great uppercut up top, and he's got a great left hook to the body. So those are the shots I think you see primarily from him once he breaks the sweat, gets into his rhythm. And, man, go ahead. You look like you got something to add.
what I wanted to say was I'm really like we talked about it at his media workout. He grew up around a dad who mastered the Soviet style, comes from that Soviet background, and this is his first time fighting an Eastern Bloc Soviet fighter. So I'm really intrigued to see like what the adjustment period is going to be. Like,
He's got his dad training with him at time. Well, not full time, but he's had his dad for the first time like ever get his hands on him for this camp.
yeah, like give him like real input in his career because
Yeah.
his dad been mom like just quiet his whole career. So it's good to see.
I have a theory on why Costa finally linked up with Tim.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's so when De La Hoya lost to Trinidad, he had been fighting his whole career to get his father's respect and recognition in part, right? And Joel De La Hoya, after he loses at Trinidad, finally tells him, "You fought a great fight," right? I think I think that's part of it. I think it's Costa. Now that his son has lost, now you need me, right? But I also think it's mixed with, but you don't suck. Like if he had lost his first fight and he just wasn't very good, I don't think his dad would fly down and get. But I think it's the combination of you. Okay, now I'm a believer. Like you are good. You could become a hell of a fighter, right? You could unify,
Yeah,
and you lost, so you need my help. But my help isn't a waste of time because you're actually good.
and you proved it already. So
Yes, that's my take.
yeah, I remember. Yeah, you were saying that at the media workout to him pretty much, and he agreed with you.
Right.
So
What do you know?
we'll see.
It's like
We'll see.
so. Then, um, it was discussed that this is supposed to be part of like a 3-fight deal to get back to the Fundora rematch. And Tim Tszyu in the aftermath of the Fundora fight reminds me a little bit of Bivol in the aftermath of Beterbiev, where it's like I do want to fight him again. I do think I can beat him, but there's another part of you physically on the inside that knows how punishing it was going up against that. And there's another side of you that kind of doesn't want to fight him again.
Yeah, you're like, and he's asking himself that internal question of like, do I really want to go for this again? Am I prepared to go for this again? Because it's one thing to say it, but once you've gone through it and you know what it's going to cost you physically, you think a lot differently.
So